Well, interesting is one way of looking at it, indeed. So
Well, particularly when you consider the power imbalance that exists in these matters.
there is no power imbalance. No way. Everything's fair and equitable, and there's no way.
Bullshit, mate. We're not on air yet because I can say that.
We're sort of half on air, but we're not quite on air.
Oh, right. Okay.
Half on air.
Half off it.
Half on, half off. There we go.
Okay, so we're loading up.
We are.
Now, I never got a chance to put a reminder out to the faithful. Anyway, hopefully they're logged.
Hopefully logged in. If not, I'm sure they'll get back to it.
Squeeze over a bit.
Yep, I'll be in there in about 30 seconds. That's all good.
Oh,
I don't want to get in the way of Ron. Poor old Ron.
No, we got to see Ron. He's star of the show.
Our mate Ron.
All right, let's kick off.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter indeed. Yes.
My name's Anthony Irvine. I'm a councillor on Temora Shire Council. All the views I express here are mine and mine alone, and not those of Temora Shire Council. And
I'm Dan McKay, and I don't have to answer to any goddamn council, nor will I ever be inclined to do so. My opinions are definitely my own. My thoughts are my own. Nobody owns me.
Fantastic.
That's wonderful being
we've positioned ourselves the spin doctors, and our job is to fight spin, and we have to cut it out. It's like a cancer in the community, spin.
I'll tell you what, the lies and the bullshit run deep in most communities around Australia. I mean, we do our little bit here locally relative to what we're currently dealing with. I don't mind. I'll swing at the federal, national, state. I can give a rat's as far as that goes. But yeah, look, we've picked some pretty interesting battles over the last couple of years. We've been
pretty much the battles have come to us.
Yeah. Oh, look. When I say we've picked them, we just haven't backed down when they've presented themselves.
That's the thing. Like I didn't
target-rich environment.
I certainly didn't start any issues with Temora Shire Council. I think they started them with me, and ever since then they've been trying desperately to become the victims.
It's funny. It's funny how popular it is to be a victim if you, if you're
particularly if you're accused of something heinous. It's quite attractive to.
Oh, wasn't it? Oh, look.
Oh, you terrible person.
Yeah. I'm being bullied.
Now,
what's been going on? We had last week off.
I'll tell you why. I had last week off, and it was hectic. Hectic, bro.
I have to come in there for a rest.
I've got 3 grandkids, and they're so placid, and they just sit there and they be really good all the time. And my wife picked them up on Monday because she's a lovely grandmother and she wants to spend so much time with the grandkids. And I said, look, I'll give you a hand after work and that. Anyway, about Thursday, she went down with the mother of all flus.
Yeah, right.
So, Poppy Dog, he
got the gig.
He got the phone call, come and save me. These kids are overwhelming me.
Yeah, right.
So I stepped into the breach about lunchtime Thursday and took the primary carer role for 3 active grandkids.
Yeah, nice.
Thursday and Thursday evening, and then all day Friday. I actually tore up a day's work Friday, but look, I tore up a day's work, and I'm telling you that day's work will still be there. It'll wait for me. Time with me grandkids won't.
Yeah, that's fair and reasonable. Fair and reasonable.
And I'm really sorry if you're one of the clients that missed out that day.
These things happen.
Anyway, long story short, the deal was that my wife was going to be going away on a golf trip and she was going to drop the kids off down where they live later in the weekend. And it turns out that she was incapacitated to the point that I actually got that gig as well. So that tore up my Sunday. So, and I actually thought we were getting somewhere. And we're halfway between a couple of big towns on a 100K stretch.
Yep.
And I've got the rear view mirror positioned so I can look out the back of the car safely, on traffic coming.
It's all about safely. Everything's sort of be safe.
And I didn't have it focused on the kids, okay? And we had some tunes playing and that. The next minute I hear some giggles out of the back seat. And I've tipped the mirror down. And one of them sitting there holding the wrapper of a chocolate bar while the other one proceeds to completely cover his face in melted chocolate. And I mean...
Now, I'm sorry, there's an OH&S rule that says they're not allowed to do that.
But I mean completely with chocolate. Now, these little muppets had sat there and watched me wash that car not 2 days before. And they are sitting there
Up your bum, Poppy.
Pop.
Uh,
I don't care what you do, Pop. You OCD idiot.
we're gonna smear chocolate from us all till breakfast. That's phenomenal.
Anyway, so it was terrific. Wonderful time spent with my grandchildren, and they know me much better because I honestly threatened to just leave them at the side of a truck parking bay and send their mum a pin
Yeah.
and say, Mum,
Come pick them up.
your kids are here somewhere between X and X. I'm out of here.
How good's that?
Never call me again.
That's fantastic.
So that was the reason I couldn't be.
That was your reasoning. I
And-
can't even remember what mine was. I know I was chasing my tail like
I
a lunatic.
remember talking to you, and you were you had about 7 balls in the air, and they were all going to land at about the same time.
I've usually got about 7 balls moving.
Yes,
That's
but they
kind
all
of,
land at the
kind
same
of my
time.
thing,
and
but
get
they
the-
were all coming down, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, I caught all of them because that's what I do. But by Christ, it was a show.
No,
And
so
I was like, yeah, look, let's.
so
let's
if
get
anyone
this
thinks that there were any gags in place or there was any threats or anything like that, no, simply the world arrived at our doorstep and demanded our attention, and we just seriously could not.
There's just only so many hours in a day. Some weeks, I'm
Yeah,
telling
and it
you.
was just one of those things. You know, the beautiful thing was, my wife had a golf trip organised,
Yeah.
and it was almost like the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, Jeebus, Buddha, all came and visited her, and she became well just in time to go to a golf trip.
Just in time for the golf. I'll tell you what. Sometimes the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yes.
Is that not what our religious folk friends say?
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. It was. A
look,
bit,
we
you know,
just-
we've got a bit of religious, spiritual stuff coming up, and it was a little bit like a resurrection.
Yeah, right. Yeah, fair play.
And she stepped forward into the light and threw the golf bags in the car and said, "Catch ya."
Have fun, bye. Thank you. The mighty Mayor of Minduran, Pete Rothwell's in the crowd. How are you, Pete? Now, for those of you who don't know Pete, I have every faith he's going to be an elected member of Parliament, an honest, competent member of Parliament at some point in
It'll
the
be
near
a
future.
rare breed.
Yeah, that's a very elite club, very small club, but I have full faith in Pete Rothwell. So if anybody he's not actually running in this federal election, but if anybody does come across Pete in their travels and if you ever see his name on a ballot, he certainly has my full endorsement without a shadow of a doubt.
Right.
Right, what do we got for the evening, big fella?
Let's roll into the Temora Independent. Now,
I love the Temora Independent. It's my favourite shitty newspaper in Australia.
well, I can't find any other source to confirm the circulation, but the information we found last show that said the circulation per week is about 1,400 copies.
Yeah.
And I think that was the week that our show had done
5,500. Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah. And we
So-
made a bit of fun of them because
We're not going to stick it in.
no.
We're not
Look,
going to say to Peter Marnie that your paper sells 1,400 copies and our show gets 5,000 views. We're not going to say that, are we?
no. Well,
No,
I
we're
would
not going
never.
to say.
Well, I
Why
mean,
would
look, I mean, you got to be fair. There are some weeks where we'll only have 200, 300, 400 people
Oh,
watch our shit,
absolutely.
but we also don't charge money for it.
No, it's
We
free.
don't, we haven't got a 100-year history.
No,
Um,
no, we haven't. We're not leveraging the machine that is the Temora Independent. We are a startup.
yeah,
We're a
oh,
disruptor.
absolutely.
We're only new kids on the block. We're only baby ducks, ducklings.
Ducklings.
We are ducklings on the pond.
I
Now-
wouldn't mind guaranteeing though we get more people tuning this on average than the old Pterodactyl FM gets
I'm
on a
tipping-
weekly basis.
I'm tipping.
Maybe at certain times of the day when there's when they're playing it at Greenstone Lodge or something, when everybody's out for morning tea, maybe that would count as listeners. But I don't think they're listening; they just
No,
have it on.
no, it's just noise.
There'd be the odd business that might play it all day, but that's only because they want to hear their ad every so often,
Now, when I said that we're only ducklings on the pond of life,
Yeah, sure.
I do. It's a bit of a segue
Oh,
into the introduction of our replacement reporter.
we have a replacement reporter.
Yeah, who's replaced Camillo.
Yeah,
Okay.
because Camillo run away to Tumut.
Now, Sean Cunningham got a fair old pay the other week.
Yeah.
The Scotchman, for his absolute beat up saying huge land release.
Plus of an article,
And all it
wasn't
was
an article.
land that's already been zoned large lot residential that may, at some point in the far distant future, become rezoned to residential. Huge land release. Bullshit. Anyway, let me introduce you to the new reporter at the Temora Independent, Thomas Gosling.
Thomas. Hi, Thomas.
Now, we were talking about ducklings. Well, what's a gosling?
Baby goose, yes.
That's right.
Baby goose, sir. Baby goose.
Now, I met Thomas tonight. I didn't actually formally meet him, but I saw Thomas in the council meeting. So I had a council meeting tonight.
Oh, did you? Yeah, righto.
And Thomas, he ain't no gosling.
He's not.
Thomas has got some miles on the clock.
Okay.
Unless Thomas has been ridden hard and put away wet, I'd be tipping Thomas's mid-60s.
Yeah, okay, right.
And that's probably being kind. Because I'm 57, and I'm telling you, Thomas has written some words. He's told some stories. Anyway, welcome, Thomas Gosling, to the world of Temora.
To town. We'll see how you go with credibility, son, over the next few weeks.
Yes, now, look, Thomas has already kicked off. He's writing articles in the Temora Independent. And the only thing I'll say is, Thomas, it's a bit unfortunate your name is Gosling because that indicates that you're a baby goose. Don't grow up to be a fully fledged goose under the tutelage of your fearless leader, Mr. Peter Marnie. Because Mr. Peter Marnie is a full-blown, 100% fully feathered goose. Okay?
I think his goose is cooked.
Well, I don't
I know a bit about cooking goose.
But here we are, it's Easter. We're not at Christmas. We're not cooking gooses yet.
No, I'll cook a goose any time of year. I couldn't care less.
But
I don't discriminate.
anyway, Thomas, if you want to come and have a go on the show, you're more than welcome. If you want to come and meet us at any time, please reach out. If you want to ask me any questions about anything that occurs in Temora Shire Council's remit, by all means. And look, honestly, I really look forward to meeting you formally. And yeah, hopefully we can have a long and a really fruitful and enjoyable relationship.
Just a word of warning for our mate Thomas. If you do start any of this, you want to do an interview or ask me any questions or anything like that, the first time I see you pull some shady shit with any gifts that I give you media wise, that'll be the one and done. Our mate Camillo tried some bullshit. Petey Marnie's tried plenty of bullshit. I reckon I'm a pretty generous sort of a character in the space. But the minute you come at me sideways, that's done. Sorry, pal. There won't be any forgiveness and you'll be on the shelf.
Well, this is a point that I want to make, and it's a really valid point. And it's Easter time. So for all the Christians in the world, we're talking about this period of trial, suffering, and ultimately resurrection and redemption and returning to the light. Now, this will sound very deep and spiritual.
Indeed.
However, I can draw some similarities to the journey that I've been on, whereby I've been through a trial. I've been accused of some heinous things, and I've withstood the allegations, and I've actually asked for more proof, and I've publicly defended everything that's been thrown at me and thrown a heap of shit back.
Yep.
And now, honestly, I feel as though the community, through this program, through your support and through the support of a number of people in the community who have got my back, I feel as though my side of the story is finally getting out there.
It's only a little bit of traction.
No. And even to the point, no, it is the story. It's not a little bit of traction. It has actually replaced the BS story. It is the story. And it's incredible just to... There was a period of time that myself and my family and my wife went through where we would go into a business or we'd go somewhere, and normally...
Prior to all this, you had good relations.
Well, there was a feeling of it was warm and open.
Yep.
And then there was a period where the reception was cold and closed. And it was honestly a situation where you go, have I got dog shit on my boots? What's going on? And everyone was just going, you could just tell they just thought you're an arsehole.
Yeah.
There was just this cold, closed, minimum interaction, no openness, no facing you, no, you can just tell.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You know when you walk into a room and it turns to ice.
Absolutely.
I get it all the time.
Well,
I get it a lot.
well,
I'm very comfortable with it.
I rarely got it.
Yeah, that's right.
And to have that happen after a heap of rumour and shit had been spread about me and all of this misinformation, and all of this
Lies and bullshit. Tell it
absolute
like
crap.
it is. Yeah.
And then to actually weather the storm, come out the other side of it, and don't think for a second there's not some cuts and scratches and scars and bruises, but to come out the other side of it intact and know that people actually, what I'm finding now is this show has allowed us to show the other side of the story, put forward evidence to support the claims, and people appear, to my mind, to have
Started to take a little bit here and go, hang on a minute.
No, seriously, like I'm being met with interactions with local people like they were before the shit went down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like you're back. Well, you're back. I never went anywhere. But you're back. You're back on your trip of bullshit. You've gone to the other side. You've considered the alternative narrative.
Yeah.
You've weighed up the evidence and you've come back and you've said, no. We're taking your side. We're with you.
Yeah.
Now that to me is
that's nice.
And
that's nice.
I don't want to sound too whack job soapboxy, but that is a little bit biblical in the trial,
right.
The crucifixion and the resurrection. You know what I mean? Like the whole, you go down into the toilet, everyone hangs shit on you, they just pile it on, and if you're strong enough and you can handle and you're true.
Yeah, you've got to be true. That's the
other side. Okay.
Yeah.
But you've got to be tough. Now, the challenge for me is not to hold some of these people responsible for eating or drinking the Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid. Yeah, it's very difficult sometimes to say, you drank the Kool-Aid, you're my enemy.
I felt a lot and saw a lot of that during the COVID era.
Well, that was another next level layer.
That's these things happen, you know. Like, I guess I was at a political event on the weekend, even though I'm not a candidate this time around.
Yes.
And I know some of our mates at the Daily Telegraph and a couple of these other little shit shows here at the Dependent and our local mayor. See, we've stopped him from running. No, I'm just busy. I haven't got time for this shit at the moment, you know. I'm still helping a few candidates. I'm still heavily involved. I'm just getting as much done as I can do without being a candidate. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be your next Prime Minister.
And I'd also like to point out, how many jobs have you currently got?
Jobs, businesses, enterprises, things going on.
3.
Look, we try not to talk too much business on here, but the little pest control businesses.
No, but
pest control. Look, I've got a pest control business that's growing probably faster than I need it to.
That's okay.
That's a good problem. Yeah. I've got a freight business that started out doing about $300 a week, $300 a week between Temora and Junee and a Wagga, and it was just a bit of a write my ute off for tax and pay a couple of extra bills. That's now turned into
vans, employees.
Vans. Right. No, I don't have any employees, only contractors. I don't want to be anybody's daddy, but I've got to be very clear on that. So when the ATO says how many employees you got, none. I will never, ever do that ever again.
No.
And then obviously I'm sort of selling my 15 to 20 cars a month.
For an employer?
For Riverina Motor Group as an employee.
Yes.
I think they like me because I don't behave like an employee. So they're getting
you actually work after hours.
Yeah. Like I'll answer the phone at random. You know, I've sold cars at 10 o'clock at night.
On a weekend.
On a weekend, doesn't matter.
What are you doing?
If you ring me up, if we get
what are you doing?
Yeah, no.
You're an employee.
I know. Stop it. Yeah,
I'll
clock off when I win, God damn it.
Yeah.
But so I've got a lot going on. And I've, growing family and
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
all
And
those
also,
types of
just to add a few layers of complexity, in the meantime, you've got a young son,
yep.
you've got an aunt.
An aunt who had a 70-somethingth birthday the other day is getting a house built.
You've got a house with pets. You've got obligations. You've got responsibilities. You've got,
and I've got multiple political candidates around the country ringing me. I've got a partner with a growing family.
Right.
Make of that what you will.
So so there's a lot of layers there.
There's a lot
that all require serious amounts of.
Oh shit! Look, here's how I've worded it.
So what do you get up at 3?
No, usually 3:30 to be up and going by 4.
That's pretty.
By 4:15 most days, I'm running late.
Yes.
Regardless of what's going
for
on.
most of the day.
And you know, look, we had a bit of a thing with some of the other staff the other day at the car yard, right?
Yeah.
I saw a couple of guys who are, I don't want to say newer to the space, but they're certainly new to dealing with me.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Fuck, right? How do you do this and how do you do that?" And I said, "Listen,
get out of bed."
Well, but it was more to do with the pressure when things are going wrong, and how the hell can you deal with so many things go wrong? More stuff goes wrong for me in a day than most people go wrong in a year. But I also do a hell of a lot more, I guess, in many ways, you know. And I'm sort of saying to them, you know, like I just accept the fact that I'm always chasing my tail and that I'm failing every day, but I fail forward faster than most. That's all it is, right? It's not, I'm not sitting there going, oh, every day is a win. Every day is actually I'm failing, trying to aim for winning. So, you know, if I get up by 4 o'clock or, 4 o'clock and by 4:15 I'm running late, I've accepted that I'm going to be chasing my tail all day, every day, forever. I'll never win. I'll never catch up. I'll never be in front. But it sort of flows over into mental health for people. You know, I'm not saying everybody should quite try to maintain the type of levels of things that I do things at. But my mental health is really good. Like, I don't get depression. I don't sit around and feel really sad. Every now and then I'll be, good days and great days. It's really just how I have to be. But it's because every day I know that I can't do any more to make my life better than what I'm currently doing. I'm going 100 miles an hour every day. Like, okay, yes, I could probably improve my diet. Yes, I could. There's little things like that, for sure, 100%. But I know that at the end of every day, I've absolutely given the day.
They're incremental tweaks that you can implement. And once you're conscious of them and you voice them, then obviously I know and you know that in 1, 2, or 3 months' time, you'll probably start making these incremental changes and you'll improve.
Well, look, and I'll go and run another half marathon but
even still, you can't eat shit and then run a half marathon and think you're square.
No, you can run a half marathon and feel like you died.
Yes.
Because I did that without any training.
But you could.
But
the point I'm trying to make is this: if you acknowledge that your diet can improve, automatically your diet will improve.
Yeah, and you can go, instead of eating that McDonald's hamburger, you go and grab yourself a salad or whatever.
Your choice will be. And I've had this when I've been under the pump and under pressure, and you go, like, okay, I could go and eat junk food, or I could just go and get a salad roll. You know what I mean? And you go and get the salad roll.
Conscious decisions grown-ups make. And, look, on the other side of that, they're the reasons why I'm not in this political campaign this year.
Oh, if you took on the political campaign on top of what you've got on your hamburger with the lot and double stacked, that'd be just lunacy. That's
shit. I should have done it then.
No, and
I'd end up divorced again. I'd probably get shot. But in saying that, to the little bedwetters that were there who probably went, I think Christ, he hasn't got into that ring. It had nothing to do with you and your little wet dreams, pal.
No.
So if it was this idiot that runs this show, or the other idiot, or any of them that think that they're in some way, shape, or form scaring me off the map, sorry, bad luck, guys. But in the political space, I'm still working with a few candidates.
In the political space, when's the federal election?
Have we got one? Because here's now I will say this. I was invited to a political rally the other week.
Yes.
Mostly the independents and minor parties showed up. I was invited as a guest, which was nice. Would you come and would you sort of come and, have a bit of a yak to us about what you think we need and how we need to move forward? And I took great. You've got people coming out of the woodwork locally. I'd been politically banging away at these government tyrants for a good 10 years before COVID happened. COVID happened, and all of a sudden I had friends in the space. It was very interesting. I went from kind of being a real island with a handful of mates around the country who were similarly minded to COVID hit, changed the game. All of a sudden, people come out of the woodwork everywhere, and we've seen some great champions emerge. I feel like I was a little bit of a bridge into that from great people like David Lionhelm and those sort of guys. I built a bit of a bridge. Now we see what's happening now, and it's really, really good. I also saw a heap of political candidates, not just at the event I was at the other week, but all around the country who are going to these debates and these rallies. And the thing that pisses me off is all of these candidates who are coming out going, well, I'm your candidate for whatever party. And there's major party candidates that are
It doesn't matter.
doing the same thing. And it pisses me
Ronald
off.
McDonald party.
Yep. All these clowns, and they're saying the same shit. Well, I've only just realised that I was going to be a candidate, so I'm not really as prepared as I should be. And it doesn't matter what philosophy they've got or what party they're representing. They're reading off notes about what they need to do or what they. This is what my party stands for, and what I stand for.
This is what I should say.
And they're going back to these notes. If you're a person of principle,
you don't need notes.
You don't need notes.
No.
If you're a, if you're a hardcore socialist, you shouldn't require notes to say.
If you've got the glasses on that can see through the bullshit, you don't need notes to help you see through the bullshit.
I don't need to write speeches.
No.
Every now and then I'll need to go, here's my list of facts and figures. I'm talking about.
Yeah, you don't want to put out misinformation.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I'll have my facts and figures if I know I'm going to be talking about facts and figures, I will get the facts and figures. These people are checking themselves on what their philosophy is.
Yeah.
If you've got to read what your fucking philosophy is in the middle of a political speech,
we're not going to vote for you.
Go away.
Let's go away.
The talent pool in this country is
shallow,
so low,
and
that's across. That's not just
I want to talk about that in a minute. But okay, just for a bit of factuality, because that's where we live in this world. The federal election will be on Saturday, the 3rd of May. So that's only in a heartbeat's time.
Yes, but nobody knew it was coming, apparently. This is the big excuse they're all using.
So we got 3 weeks.
Every 4 years we have a federal election.
Yeah, but
if you're thinking about being a fucking candidate, you knew it was coming.
Yeah, but Easter's on. We're going camping. We're going fishing. Distraction.
Shit,
Footy, gather around. Look, don't think about it.
But if these are the people who want to lead the country in various capacities and they show up this close to game day, they're not fucking prepared. Yeah. They haven't done any homework. They don't know what they stand for.
Because the whole system is so completely broken.
I like One Nation as a party. They're not my favourite party. I'm a libertarian through and through, right? Libertarian, but I kind of go as the parties go. I don't mind One Nation. One of my best mates is running in Stuart Bonds in the Hunter. I'm recommending everybody, if you're available, get behind him, go up there and hand out flyers. If you've got time, go and vote early around here. Because as much as I like a couple
I will say is this. The two-party system has been dictated by two people, two groups, two gangs that are working.
They're working together. Look at McCormack's how to vote card. Have we seen that yet?
Absolutely. And
he's got Labor at number 6.
They're working so.
He has active right-leaning parties at the bottom of the fucking ticket.
Yes.
So McCormack, you spineless clown. There you are. I'll say it. I've got no problem in saying it. The fact that you have right-leaning, credible parties towards the bottom of your ticket and Labor at number 6 shows that it's a fucking uni party. And you lot are no different. You're exactly the same. You're net zero bullshit. You're Paris Accord,
There's been announcement
Fuck
after
off.
announcement of announcement.
I'm done with them.
Yeah, of money that Mr. McCormick's going to allocate if they win.
Hypocrites, liars, and full of shit. There is
Yeah.
no difference between Liberal and Labor. And the only reason he hasn't got Labor at number 2 is because his actual diehard faithful would then sort of go, oh,
Smell it.
wow.
Yes, yes.
The fact that they're at 6 is,
They're kicking me up.
Yeah, because some of them are gullible enough to go, oh, well, he's only got them at 6.
Yeah.
You know, there are credible right-leaning, and I don't call myself a conservative, I'm a libertarian, but you're supposed to be a conservative, Michael. So if you're a conservative and you're putting right-leaning, conservative-ish parties below the Communist Labor Party, you're a fucking stooge, mate. That game's done as far as I'm concerned. The
100%
Nationals are blown.
But honestly, people have to use their vote effectively, and the only way you can effectively use your vote now is to vote against both the major parties.
Absolutely.
And you have to select independent.
Work out which independents
And
you
I don't
like.
care which independent it is, but what I want to see is a swing to independence so that
But
these parties get the message that the people smell a rat. You're not going to swing the election. Your independent isn't going to get elected this time.
they may.
This time.
Stuart Bonds
No.
isn't an independent, but
Okay.
I think he's in a position to get
Yes,
elected.
But locally,
Yeah.
in the situation where it's not going to happen this time, but next time they're going to change their game and they're going to realise that they've got
They
slapped that
either
hard.
need to improve
They need
or
to
they're
pick up
done.
their fucking game, or they're going to get
It's
thrown.
embarrassing.
They are disgusting, and they're taking the piss.
And now here's the thing that I copped last election. There was an awful lot of people that came to me, and this is an indictment on our piss poor education system. We should abolish that shit show and start again. A lot of people came up. One of the most popular questions. Well, who do your preferences go to? You control the ballot. You put them wherever you like. The candidate makes recommendations.
Yes.
You do not have to follow those recommendations, and the parties do not control. They used to a few years ago. There was a system that allowed the parties to direct it. You have the power to do that. So do not be confused thinking to yourself, where do your preferences go? I don't control your preferences. Not that I'm involved, but the candidate doesn't control your preferences. The preferences are yours.
But just
They
for
make-
Christ's sake,
They
you've
make
got-
recommendations.
You have to vote against Labor and Liberal and
When I had
National.
people saying stupid things to me, and they meant well, but they're stupid and they show a complete non-understanding of how our political system works. I gave McCormack 1, I gave you 2 because I didn't want Labor to get it. Well, you got Labor anyway.
Yeah.
And you got spineless McCormack. Michael, what's his name, I believe, was how I touted him. But you could have give your favourite independent number 1.
Yes.
If you still want to put Nationals above Labor, that's fine.
But put them at the bottom.
But you could put them at
Put
the
everyone
bottom.
else in
Yeah,
between.
that's right. Well, I don't know. Maybe the Greens still at the bottom below that. But
Okay.
Greens last, Labor second last, Nationals third last in this electorate.
Liberal
And
fourth
then-
class.
And then we work out which of the independents are closer to.
Anyone
to
who's an
shit
independent
shows.
and who is ballsy enough to throw their name in the ring to have a swing, I take my hat off to them, because they are going up against a machine, a filthy, disgusting machine that is absolutely geared against them. Now, I know, because I'm an elected representative. I'm sitting on Temora Shire Council for my second term.
Yeah.
And I know just how much pressure the machine and the system can bring against an individual who's got alternative views, who wants to have an alternative position on things.
It does, but then of course the other part that really frustrates me, or frustrating me now, is I show up to an event going, right, I want to find somebody locally here that I can really get behind. I don't mind Richard Foley. You know, I like the guy. If he wants to put signs in my front yard, he'll be more than welcome, no problem. I've met James Gooden.
Yes.
So far from what I've seen of him, I like James.
Yes.
If he wants to put signs up in my house, I've got no problem with that as well. I've not met the Libertarian candidate, which again seems a bit foolish to me. That after I got 6 and whatever it was % last time, if you've got any brains, you'd be straight on the phone to me going, how in the hell do we get that?
You
6?
were the president of the New South Wales.
I was, yeah, and I'm still friendly. I left on good terms, but I just didn't have any more energy to put into that particular enterprise.
But even
And
from
they're
that
doing
perspective,
really well.
surely if someone was going to run in an electorate where you resided, Wouldn't you just go,
It'd be.
"G'day, this is my name. This is what I'm doing."
I want in. Can I piggyback off you? Have you got
Mm.
any groups that you can introduce me to? Any people you can introduce me to? Volunteers you can tag me into? Would you give me a bit of an endorsement to your people?
Can I even just kind of tap into your social media network?
Absolutely. But they've sort of failed to do that. Look, and this lady was, I think, certainly a nice lady for the 30 seconds I spoke to her. I was there for 10 minutes. But again, there was her, there was somebody there from the Rennick, Jared Rennick
Yep.
party. I like Rennick, but these guys are, and it sounds horrible because I didn't leave that inspired, and I'm sitting there as a non-candidate making a
Yes.
quick speech off the cuff,
Yes.
not get myself elected,
And these are the people who are putting their heart and soul into it.
and I'm trying to support these people and pick some of these guys. I'm just saying, look, guys in the crowd, pick one of these guys, pick all of them, and you've got to put money in. This is what needs to happen if you like a candidate that is not, well, even if you like the big machine, that's your disability, not mine. But if you've got these candidates that are smaller, most of them don't have any money. And I mean no money. The campaign I ran here out of money from
Well,
me.
we're going to talk about that in a little bit as well.
Yeah, well, my budget was about $4,000 worth of donations to pay for some signs and some bits and bobs. Fortunately, the UAP candidate, Clive's candidate, was independently reasonably wealthy.
Yes.
And he was a big supporter of Dean as well. So he actually, the alternative candidate, paid for, my call flutes. So I did that entire election for about $8,000.
Yeah.
And it was,
But it's out of your pocket.
Well, it was out of mine and my supporters' pockets.
Yeah, and I remember I gave you a hand with some of your advertising, and
Yep.
I think I met the cost of some ads in the advertiser, and
Yep.
And and that's the thing. Like, don't think for a second that we're sitting here spruiking this shit, and we don't put our money where our mouth is.
Oh, fuck.
We had Kate Fentanyl on here talking about the West Australian gun laws. And
Yep.
she was running a GoFundMe. Well, mate, I kicked in.
Yeah,
If you want to go back
absolutely.
and look at the records, I've kicked the can. It was the same as when John Larder had his issue with New South Wales Health.
Yep.
And John's a councillor at Snowy Valleys. John had a big profile during the COVID debacle. I kicked the can for John's
campaign legals. Well, I was involved. I was in John's when he ran. He was number 2 on our last federal election Senate ticket behind John Ruddick, who's now probably, as far as I'm concerned, the best member of Parliament in New South Wales Parliament.
Yeah.
And if you don't know John, check him out.
I'm saying, like, so don't think we just sit here and throw shit like monkeys at the zoo.
Oh,
no.
I've probably paid my mortgage off twice, donating to political campaigns in time, effort, energy, time off work. For people who I have a bit of faith in.
Yeah.
This go round, the guy I have the most faith in the country is Stuart Bonds.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if you see me donning a One Nation t-shirt up in the Hunter for a few days at some point, standing with Stuart. I'll get him on the program.
Yeah. I'd expect it.
And look, this is a guy who
lives there.
If he gets elected, he lives in the electorate. He's active. He's a coal miner.
Yes.
And he swore to me black and blue, if he gets elected, he will be showing up to Parliament to do his maiden speech in his coal miner's uniform.
Good on him.
He's going in there to represent the workers, and he's not selling his soul for anything. So anybody here is watching, I don't care if we have to organise a bus up there, or, I'll find accommodation or whatever. If you can do 2 days, if you do a day, early vote down here because, look, I as I said, I like some of our candidates. I think there's a couple of candidates that are good. None of them have blown me away and made me go, they're going to get in and absolutely set the world alight. And that's not an insult. That's just a fact of life. I was disappointed. So even the couple there that I thought were good didn't. I'm waiting for somebody to inspire me to go into war with them.
Yeah.
I'll go over a wall at Gallipoli with Stuart Bonds.
Well, I'm saying they got 3 weeks.
They got 3 weeks to convince me that they're, I know Richard Foley's a bit of a fighter. If he gets in, I'm not going to be offended, but I'm certainly not going to take a week off work to help him win that particular battle. No offense, Richard, mate, I love you, but I look at the One Nation seat ready to go, and I think Stuart can win it. And to win a lower house seat that's a game changer.
Actually, it's even less than that. It's actually 2 weeks.
Yep.
this is the whole horrific part about it. Like this Saturday's the 19th.
Yep.
Then we've got
I
the 26th, and then honestly, it's.
I want to see somebody locally, and it could be Richard. I haven't actually. He
I
wasn't.
want to see him take it up.
Richard wasn't at the event that I was at the other day. So, look,
And
Richard.
that's a bit of a slip up in my mind.
No, he had another event in Sherman. That's the problem.
Oh.
When you've got a 5-week campaign, how do you be everywhere?
Yeah.
How
And
do
you
you
can't.
be? It's impossible.
Without the machine.
I've tried it.
Without the machine.
Without the machine, they're not going to fly you here, there, and everywhere. How many kilometres you got to do in the car? And again, that's what a lot of people don't understand. Well, so and so didn't show up to this event. So and so probably didn't have the fucking fuel money.
Yes.
It can be that
100%.
dicey at times for some of these candidates.
No.
I can guarantee you, Michael McCormack's not worried about whether his car's filled up. He's doing that on your dollar. Like if you like him, get behind him. I know that.
Look, just seriously, don't get sucked into the bullshit that is this two-party preferred system in Australia, where it's just a uni party.
It is
And
absolutely.
if they're not raping you, the other ones are. Like they're just taking turns. One's holding you, one's rooting you.
That's exactly what's
You know what I
happening.
mean? They're a swap.
Yep. And that guy's the bad guy. Oh, hang on. I guarantee you, 100% without a shadow of a doubt, the Labor Party would much rather see the Liberal Party in Wagga,
Yes.
or LNP, would much rather see the Labor Party in Wagga than me,
Yes.
or Richard,
Oh,
or James Gooden.
absolutely. Because
They would
they're
absolutely,
indoctrinated.
because they're
know
part
the
of
game.
they're part of the gang, and they will comply with the gang rules.
Yes.
And people forget this shit. Pete, here, such a pathetic election. Labor dribbling the same old rubbish, but I'm most disappointed in the Libs, playing small target, wishy-washy, visionless, with zero principles in sight
They
politics.
weren't visionless. They borrowed all Trump's visions, and then they tried to trot them out. And then, of course, Trump blew the world up with his tariffs, and of course, they've resolved from that. Now they don't want anything to do with Trump, so they're sitting there in no man's land with nothing to.
But they only half, and that's the problem. You either go all in or you don't. Net zero is bullshit. End of story. Coal mines, love them. I want power to be cheap. I don't really care how we get there. Some people crap on about climate change. I think it's a complete load of bullshit. I'm yet to see any evidence that makes me disagree. I know
But
you're
in
a
the
bit
interim, no, in the interim, at the very least, it would be very nice to at least get some royalties off our natural gas.
Oh, look, yeah. How we financially go about doing it? Because I'd rather get some royalties from that. And the tariffs are a tax.
Yes.
I fundamentally oppose all taxes, but here's what I see from Trump's stance with it, and I think he's right. It's a tool at the moment. He's using it as a tool, a battering ram to bring all these other countries to heel, and they're all doing it. They're all going bended knee, going, "Please, Donald, we need your market."
And and Donald's going, "Well, I need some real jobs in my country."
That's right.
So if you want to sell shit into my market, how about you bring some real jobs to my country and bring some wealth?
And for all these years that America's been forced to pay tariffs into other countries when they want to deal in there, I fully get it. It's still a tax. Don't pretend that it's not. But if he provides that tax, and he is taxing, including us, because his job is not to protect Australians, it's to protect the Yanks. It's our job to protect us, not that we've got a leader capable of doing it. But if he turns around and can do that, tariff all these countries to the point that he can lower the income tax rate for his citizens, he's done the right thing. He's done a good job.
Well, if he can get meaningful, well-paying jobs, because
meaningful, well-paying jobs, but also if he can lower the income tax on the jobs that are there.
If you've got a decent job, you can pay tax.
Yeah, but if you're making $20 an hour, and out of that $20 an hour, 5 of it's gone for tax, just for real simple
math.
That's
like here.
That we've discussed it many times.
Yeah.
Well, it does work out to be for every $20 you earn, it's about 10 that the government steals over the 12-month period during its life cycle. But if all of a sudden that 5 turns into 2. Everybody's got a better everybody has a better quality of life.
You might be getting 25 instead of 20. So
because Donald's job is not to look after the whole frigging world. His job is to look after American people. He was elected by them for them.
And look,
our job is to find a leader who's going to ring Donald and go, Donald, right, bud, pal, we're happy to pay this and this. How about you give us that and that instead of sending it to Canada or China or whatever? You send those jobs to us, and we'll do your deal here. Up there, bum, we're with you.
Yes.
Now, we haven't got a leader even close to capable of doing that. No. Not even a whisker.
No.
I like Jacinta Price, not even a whisker. She's the only capable leader within the LNP currently, and
that's your opinion.
Yep.
I don't know. My jury's still a bit out on it.
Yeah, I know it is. But I mean, I looked at the entire leadership group of the Liberal Party, National Party. The only one in there with a lick of capability is Jacinta. The rest of them might as well shut the whole show down, everyone pack up and go home. The Labor Party's no better. They're just really good communists. So it's easier to be a communist because you just basically want everybody else's shit.
Well, what you do
jump
is
up
you
and down,
employ
do
the
whatever.
nation as public servants, and then you've basically got a communist state because they're all
beholden to the
they're all
same.
suckling at the tit of
That's right.
the government, and of course, bigger government. You know, it just plays into the whole
Well, and right up until the government collapses, like it has done in Venezuela,
under the weight of its own.
Argentina, and they
Largesse.
yeah, that's right. That's what happens. We're going to pay around $1 trillion.
Yes.
It's Dr. Evil, $1 million. Like they're fucking dummies. But if you know, if we had a lick of leadership capability, I made the comment here a few weeks ago. All Dutton's got to do is shut up, not do anything stupid, and he'll get elected.
Well, Mutton dressed up as Stevens, Dutton dressed up as Sham. He's
Well,
an absolute
he's a
scumbag.
peanut.
He's just a low.
As far as his personal ethics or lack thereof, my advice to him was to shut his fucking trap. And then he's coming going, oh well, the whole working from home thing, you know, for public. Oh look, yeah, I've changed my mind.
Yes.
So you got to sort what? You want to lead the company? What do you think Trump's going to do to you when you're in a meeting, mate? He is going to point out what a useless bitch you are.
You don't open your mouth until you've made your mind up.
That's exactly
And I'm telling
right.
you, it's going to take a shit ton to change your mind.
He's a walking joke.
He's a
Elbow is dumb as a post. He crapped on with the voice. All Dutton had to do was shut his fucking mouth. Don't say anything stupid, Peter.
Yes.
Peter, no.
Yes.
And the LNP had cruised too. Now it's going to be really, really close for no logical reason because they're all fucking hopeless. And here we're going to get stuck with the current idiot we've got who...
Won't that be a tragedy? But the replacement's no better.
That's my
This
point.
is the thing. It blows my mind how much hate that Trump attracts. And I sit back and I go, but what was the competition?
Well, that's right.
It was disgusting.
They're fucking hopeless.
Trump's-
I want a leader
Trump's-
who's going to lead the damn country.
Trump may well be very, very bad. But I'm telling you, he was lengths ahead.
Miles, not even close.
Lengths ahead.
Go back through these videos for the last 2 years and I've made points.
You know what I mean?
Trump is a leader of men. He is charismatic. He's
also a rich boy that just gets his own way and does what he
absolutely,
wants.
but he
He's
won't.
a bully and he's this and he's that.
But you've got to be a bully because otherwise you're going to get bullied. What happens if Xi Jinping rings up and goes, Donald, I'm not happy about this. Donald says, I can give a rat's ass, son. You can.
We don't know that.
Well, we've seen pretty
We
good
need Donald
evidence.
to finish the war, but I think that's finishing rapidly.
Well, they're all quietening right down, that's for sure. And you know, look, Zelensky
He needs to tick a few more boxes, but
absolutely
and
does.
he just.
I
He'll
like him better than I like the alternatives. I've never said he was perfect,
No.
but I'll tell you what, as far as the globe goes, he's miles in front of any other world leader at the moment. Xi Jinping is obviously a very good world leader. He seems like an ass and he's a communist prick, but he's a very good leader. He's got his show running
very measured.
and you've got
He doesn't overreact.
and Putin does his own thing as well. We've got Albanese dribbling on himself,
Oh,
gibbering fucking nonsense, and we're going to get Dutton, who's a bigger potato.
gosh,
I know people called him a potato, but I mean, the guy's a vegetable.
he
He brings nothing to the table. There is no reason why I would spend any time, effort, or energy supporting Peter Dutton to lead this country.
No.
You know, one of the bright spots, Chris Bowen's electorate. Now, Chris Bowen's the energy minister in this shit show. Matt Kamanzuli's going to spear him.
But even there's also a little bit of chatter about Dutton not being as solid as.
No, he might get done as well, which I'm not going to pretend I won't laugh.
Won't that be funny?
I will laugh my ass off. And,
Now,
you know,
we've got 2 more weeks of that to run. I don't want to cut you off, but I know you're on a tear.
oh, yeah,
But
look,
I
can shred these people all day. No doubt.
I got a couple of things I just need to touch on, and it's about
Do it.
the way that the system works when you're an elected representative at a local council level who's more often than not just a person from within the community. Of varying levels of means.
Yep.
And the way that the machine will gear up against you and what you may face if it turns against you.
Which doesn't take much for it to do so.
No. Now, we've on the shows in the past, we've referred to budget estimates. Now, budget estimates occurs every year, and that's when the Senate or the Legislative Assembly in New South Wales get to actually grill the politicians and say, what are you spending the money on? How are you spending it? There's a little bit of checks and balances.
and attempts at some accountability,
Yes.
for sure.
So most recently, on the 28th of February, our illustrious Minister for the Local Government was in budget estimates, and there was an interesting exchange between Ron Honig, who is the Minister. Now, have a look at Ron. He's a bit of a rooster. Ron's 72.
We've spoken about Ron many times.
Ron's 72. Ron's got the do. Ron hasn't got a grey hair on his head.
Oh, look, and it all looks natural, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I'm sure it's
Fine.
nylon.
Fine looking fella.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
what the top of the food chain looks like, ladies and gentlemen.
well, but also just consider this. Ron's a barrister. Now,
He is. Yes, he is formerly a barrister, so he's not
well, I
a
don't know whether
dumbass.
it's even formally.
Well, I mean, he's a barrister, qualified barrister. You know, like it's not the guy who makes coffee,
No.
as in the legal eagle style barrister.
Now, let me just give you a bit of a. So he was born in. His birthday's coming up, actually, 21st of April. So all the best, Ron, for the 21st. It's only a few days' time.
I don't celebrate birthdays. Birthdays are for women and children.
1953.
Fantastic.
So it's 2025. So he'll be 72. Is an Australian barrister and current member for Heffron in the New South Wales Legislative Assembly. He's currently the Minister for Local Government, Vice President of the Executive Council, and Leader of the House in the New South Wales Labor Government of Premier Chris Minns. He previously served as Mayor of the city of Botany Bay in New South Wales from 1981 to 2012, a record 31 years. Okay, and then he ran for state parliament and got elected.
Yep.
Okay, so Ron's been around the block. He's a barrister. He's a mayor for 31 years in a city electorate.
Yep.
He's obviously a staunch Labor
He's a Labor man, yeah.
man because he's high up in the Labor government,
Yeah.
the Minns government. Now, there's been something that's gone on in a council very close to where Ron's at, in Bayside, which is an amalgamation of what Rockdale used to be and some other councils nearby,
Yeah, right.
which
Yeah.
is only down the road. Now, it appears that there's a mayor that's been the mayor of Rockdale and this Bayside council for about the same time as Ron's been mayor of Botany, for 30 odd years.
Yeah, too long, but
Sarah
anyway.
Vanovsky. Now, Mr. Sarah Vanovsky's been accused of some pretty heavy shit. He's been stood down, I think, as the mayor.
What counts as heavy shit? Do you have a bit of a vague rundown of some
Well,
of the alleged
let's
crimes?
just listen to some of the conversations around this. But Mark Latham has obviously got a bit of a bone here he wants to chew with Mr. Honig, and Mr. Honig doesn't seem to want to entertain the idea. But from what I can reading between the lines, and I've listened to the full video.
Yep.
And Ron tiptoes around the tulips, but Mark, and I don't want to put words in Mr. Latham's mouth, and clearly I don't want to defame Mr. Honig, but
Sure.
Mr. Latham seems to be, seems to be some implication that the matter was with NCAT, or no, I won't say NCAT because there's a little bit of conjecture about that. It was with a third-party investigative authority. Okay. And then they've got all the powers to investigate, but it got transferred to the OLG. Then the matter got heard at NCAT, and now there's all these secrecy or suppression orders as to the outcomes.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so Mr. Latham is asking some probing questions.
Mr. Latham's not backwards in coming forwards.
No.
I've had a bit to do with Mark.
Mr. Honig is carefully answering those questions as a barrister would.
Yes.
But when you listen to some of the things that the OLG have done in relation to this, in order to prosecute the matter at NCAT, they engaged a criminal barrister.
Right.
And Mr. Honeygall explained.
Yeah. Now, and just for the record, Mark Latham did join me on Pterodactyl FM for an interview one
Well,
night.
Mark Latham may well join us here.
Mark is not adverse to
I'd love to get Mark's actual
take on this show. This show, not our show. We already know he's a big fan. He thinks we're amazing. Just for the record.
Issue. On the basis that she's alleging impropriety or a breach of the law, I'm happy to do that. But I don't want to.
So this is the end of the previous question, and it's 6 odd hours.
Of,
we're not going to watch the whole 6 hours, just so you know.
Over a local political dispute. So I mean that's the point I was making in answer to Mr. Donald.
Okay, here we go.
I mean, I think you'll find that the Office of Local Government is restructuring itself. It's got an increase in staff to this point in time of 22, I think, from what it was.
From 68 to 92.
68 to 92. So it's being restructured.
The OLG's beefing up.
More resources.
That's what they've said. 68 to 92, the OLG's staffing's gone to. Here we go. Listen to this.
Said that you were first told about the Theron Vinosky matters, temper tantrum and pecuniary interest.
No, and don't use those. Well, I was first told about the Sabranovsky matter would probably be the.
Well, I didn't finish my question. Mr. Whitworth, in the middle of
Sometime in 2023, I guess
he told you about both those.
Now, it happened in 2018.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I wasn't told that, but I was told. The first I've heard about it, I guess use the word Sabranovsky matter is sometime in 2023. I guess about the middle.
At that time, what did the matter involve that you were told about?
I can't tell you.
It's a secret.
This is the third serious matter that's still pending.
I can't tell you.
Why not?
Because I have.
I don't want it.
Has been subsequently provided to me by under statutory provisions. I can't.
We did provide a bit more information earlier on. Now you.
Oh yeah, I'm just going down that path because I'm aware of certain things and I cannot transgress because of orders that have been made.
By NCAT.
And at that time, you said to Mr. Whitworth he would be well advised to get criminal counsel. What else did you tell him to do?
And why? And why he should.
Why and why was that?
Well, I'm not going to go into that. I can't go into that.
And what actions did you tell him to take, given what you obviously thought was very serious in commissioning criminal counsel?
Yeah, well, because of the nature of the material, criminal counsel are best placed to know exactly how to lead that evidence.
Right. And given that you'd known Councillor Saran Vinosky for 30 years, what happened when you went to him to get his side of the story?
I didn't.
Oh, I didn't.
And who did you tell about the matter? Local councillors, parliamentary colleagues, Labor head office?
I didn't discuss the matter with anyone until the matter was listed at NCAT, and then that's when it became public, and that's when I alerted that there was a matter listed for it. I alerted local members and that there was a matter listed in relation to Sabranovsky at NCAT without.
You can hear the gears grinding as
he's got to think about it. Absolutely.
Bill Saran-Vinosky not be on the Labor ticket for the
No.
council election? You played no role in that.
No.
Did you play any role in his son replacing him, which seemed an extraordinary thing to do if you had concerns of that nature?
And his son's on the council today.
Now, yeah, of course.
So your evidence to the committee is that you first heard of it when Mr. Whitworth briefed you. These matters had been around at the council. No one inside the council ever spoke to you about it after 2018?
No, definitely not. Never. Never come up. We were busy talking about the weather and
you can't mention
other important matters. Fuck, Ron.
I don't know whether it will or will not become public.
Right. Have you got any idea when it might be finalised?
suppose the next step might be finalised, I imagine. Maybe within in the month. I've asked for certain things.
After we've shredded enough documents to make it go away.
Thank you very much.
Now, I've had a little bit to do with Latham. Now, he's sharp as a whip and he doesn't pick a fight unless he's got kind of, you know, his ducks generally lined up or he's in a taxi cab. But that was pretty spineless from Ron Honig.
No. That was
And-
very careful from Ron.
Oh, very careful, very careful.
And you
But
can, reading between the lines, it's clear that Mr. Latham has some suspicions that Mr. Honig or the Labor Party may have managed the Sarabanovsky matters to some extent.
I can guarantee that they did.
Well,
He would.
we can't.
Yeah, okay. Yes, you're correct. We can't guarantee it.
No.
But yeah,
So clearly
Stevie Wonder can see it.
Well, if anyone's got a spare 6 hours,
Fuck.
they can go back and they can run the whole day's stuff. And Mr. Latham comes back time and time again and keeps honing in on those issues and keeps asking pointed questions that Mr. Honig and Mr. Whitworth both
Gently.
parry. Now, but let's consider this. Sarabanovsky, the OLG are bringing investigations against him. It's been referred by NCAT. They're engaging criminal barristers.
Yep.
Who's picking up the tab?
Well, the taxpayer,
Yes,
as always.
Yes. So the New South Wales government, all the invoices are being paid and they're pulling in whatever resources they deem appropriate at the time. Sarabanovsky, on the other hand, regardless of his right or wrong doing, has basically got to fund his own defence and fund the time in his defence.
Yeah.
There seems to be something completely.
But has he? Again, I don't know what he's been accused of. This.
Well, apparently there's 3 matters.
Yeah.
And this is the 3rd matter, and there seems to be suppression orders surrounding the other matters.
Yes.
So there, again,
Suppression orders, are they not for kitty fiddlers only while we're working out whether they've
well,
done it or haven't?
This is the whole thing. Like,
Because if it's a kitty fiddler, that's what wood chippers
No.
were invented for.
aren't we surely at the point where if we're spending taxpayers' money on these investigations, why on earth are they suppressed? Why, if this guy's been the mayor for 30 years, why on now? Just a little sideline, and this is completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Would you believe that Mr. Honig's wife actually works for Bayside Council, where Mr. Sarabanovsky was the mayor? But Mr. Honig had no idea of the issues.
Of course not. Of course not, because those things don't happen.
Now, I don't imagine his missus is the janitor. I don't imagine his missus is.
Cleaning the toilets down at the
No.
local footy club. No,
No.
she's not doing that.
She's not sitting on a lawn.
I can guarantee you she's in a very, very shiny office in a very, very
Comfortable chair.
accessible
Yes.
position. And she would have a pretty good bloody idea of what's going on in the building.
But
Unless he's married a complete dunce and they just feel sorry for it.
I don't imagine that.
I can't imagine that'd be a thing, I don't.
He's a barrister. He's a mover and shaker. Have a look at the head of hair.
I
He's obviously a virile stallion.
a very stallion. Oh, I bet his balls haven't gone missing.
No,
No,
no, absolutely. So anyway, look,
I'll tell you,
just an indication of how unfair the fight can get. When I'll give you an example. I've been subjected to multiple codes of conduct.
you have,
And-
yes.
The Office of Local Government and the Temora Shire Council will throw huge resources at the investigations, and I'm basically left there to defend them on my own.
Yep,
Um,
with your own money and your own
any-
resources,
any
your own
number of
time.
times
effort,
they've said,
energy.
you should consult your legal counsel for advice, and it's like, what fucking legal counsel, mate? Are you going to lend me $5,000 so I can get legal representation in this matter?
Yeah.
No. Well, fuck off.
Pretty much.
Like, it is just the most ridiculous proposition that, and this is the thing, but don't let them bluff you. Don't
Right.
stop participating in the democratic process and sticking up for yourself and sticking up for your community from the threats that these bullies throw at you.
And here's
This is seriously, this is also part of this uniparty system and this whole big government process where if you don't toe the line, if you want to be the squeaky wheel, if you want to expose things that are going to be uncomfortable to the government, then they will use everything within their power to silence you and to bury you.
They use tactics. Now,
They use sick tactics.
and what they'll do is they'll send letters that are worded in ways that we, the average punter,
Would
may
find
or may
threatening.
not understand, and we feel very intimidated by such,
There's intimidation involved.
such
There's
letters. And
threats involved.
yeah, of
And
course.
what? If you had the money, you might run off to your barrister, your legal counsel,
Oh, good
your
God.
criminal barrister,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
might get some advice.
I'm very fortunate that I can ring Kyle and go, oh, what's this
Yeah.
shit? And he'll go, no, just tell him to fuck off. And I'll go, good enough for me, bud. That's all the legal advice I need on that one.
Yes,
You know,
but when they've got people sitting around, phalanxes of lawyers, individuals sitting there, like
but
as
what
Mr. Honig just alluded to, they've just increased the
they just do it to you. They do it to the
staff-
average
oh,
punters. They
the
just
staff at the OLG have just increased from 60 odd to 90 odd. But that's a 50% increase.
If you're a local publican and you've got an amazing kitchen and they don't want you to open it because they've decided you need to do more works to it, they'll send you a very astutely worded letter
Oh,
that may or may not come across as threatening, but you go, shit, I'll better comply or they're going to hurt my business. Now,
I'm going to read you a letter
I
out of today's.
oh goody, they got letters in the paper. Well, part of what set you off was a bit of a thing. I'd always thought governments were pretty shonky, but the thing that kind of still sticks in my craw with TSC and a few other individuals in the space was members of my family received a letter not long after my father died.
Oh,
It was an interesting letter.
was a letter saying, we reckon your dad was a great guy and we loved him and
Well, actually, a lot of people did say
we're
that.
really sorry to hear of your loss.
No, yeah.
Is there anything we can do to help you?
A lot of people said that Dad was a great guy. Far more popular than what I let to be. More of a people person, I believe. Actually, I think a lot of it just had to do with he didn't quite have the as he tried to be more civilized in his older age, he didn't really want to pick fights with people.
Well, he
Then, of
probably
course,
picked plenty when he was a kid and realised that
yeah, sometimes it didn't pay
if
off.
you lose them, you get a sore head. If you win them, you get broken hands.
Does happen, you know.
So you can't really win.
One of the things that set me off back in those days was after he died. Now there's 4 siblings. 3 of us are full siblings. We got a half brother. I was living in town at the time because I was his. I'm going to say primary care because we still had help from the community nurses and whatever the circumstance was.
Yeah,
They come in and did their bit, but
Yeah, but you
I
were.
was the family
at
member.
ground zero
I was
every
the
day.
family member that was here, and I did not always cover myself in glory. It was one of the toughest things I've ever done.
Pressurised time.
It was pretty tough, and I did some good things and I did some stupid things. And guess what? That's the difference between me and a lot of you clowns that are hating on. You do stupid things and cover it up. I just live with it and roll with it and own it. But in that circumstance, if you're going to send a letter and you weren't being disingenuous, I reckon all 4 siblings would get a letter. 4 would get a letter. Or 3 would get a letter, and the one that was in town would get invited to the meeting about the letter. Now, that didn't happen.
Really?
Didn't happen. You'd be stunned to learn. And I guess when you look at my family dynamics, you're probably thinking if you were going to try a divide and conquer game, I'd be the one you'd be wanting to isolate. If you get a 3-on-1 vote, you pricks get to do whatever
So
you
you're
want.
saying that TSC sent letters to the 3 other siblings
Now,
and didn't
I can't
include
recall who the letter formally came from. I don't know if there was a TSC letter on it, but there was a certain former general manager very, very heavily involved in the letter and the discussions. There was a former lawyer in town who was Dad's lawyer, and he's the only one who actually came out with a genuine apology. There was another arsehat who I believe used to be a member of the fire department locally. And there was a fellow who was the president of the Lions Club. Lions Club will never receive another $1 from me in support
throw them to the
ever
line.
again. Yeah, that's right. But there was 4 there.
Caesar.
There was 4 there, and there was a few other peripheral people that were apparently at this wonderful meeting where they discussed the future of my father's house. And then they sent a letter to
Stan's family.
said family, and we'd made a bit of a decision with. So now, and I'll say it because there's a few jackasses who go, "Oh, well, you just got a free house. I'll pay the fucking mortgage, dumbasses." Right now, when Dad died, or sorry, when he broke his neck,
Mm.
there was a house where the medical centre was.
Mm.
It was council owned. Dad was a council employee. But that house was earmarked for bulldozing for the medical centre. It was going to be a 2-year project.
Mm.
But it was actually already decked out for a bloke in a wheelchair. It was disabled, suitable.
Mm.
And they basically said, go live there, use it until we need that while we get, while we work out what we're going to do with your house to get it up to snuff for wheelchairs. Great. Thank you very much. That's wonderful. Now that's between Dad and them. And it was a good arrangement. Thank you very much. Everybody was appreciative. The town went to town. The town was phenomenal.
Yeah, they do rally round.
Oh, they were. Tomorrow now, I will defend the town as it is,
Yes,
without any problems at all. They're amazing.
they're not the guy.
Well, a certain mayor's uncle was phenomenal. And he's a bloke who doesn't like any spotlight, and I don't know that he's big on any of the bullshit that goes on. I haven't seen him for a little while. Just we live in the same townish, but he does his thing, I do my thing. He and a couple of other genuine mates of Dad's went hard on raffle tickets, and they fundraised. Luke was working out at the airport,
Yeah.
the Air Museum before he moved on, so they were great. Done whatever. They raised enough money. Somewhere between that, his insurances, the family chipped in what they could, and we made it all work. So we paid out his mortgage, and then the rugby union club at the time came and helped him build a shed. The soccer club at the time painted the inside of the house. The men's shed built. Rui did a heap of work on the house for him while he's in his wheelchair state. Beautiful, wonderful. Now, if you donate money to Canteen Kids charities or any other charity for that matter, if the person who's the recipient of said charitable donation dies, you don't go back to the family and say, we'd like our money back, thank you.
No, you don't.
You don't.
That's pretty low class.
Oh,
It's a pretty low class sort of thing to consider.
I'm all for some gangster shit, but when Dad died, the intimation in this letter, and I didn't get the letter. So I didn't know anything about it until I had a phone call from a very emotional group of siblings.
Yeah.
One in particular was in tears, and making my siblings cry makes me cranky.
Yes.
But the letter basically said, give us the house. You owe us a house. You should donate this house because of all the wonderful things that the town has done for you. Hang on. Temora Shire Council is not the fucking town.
No.
You are simply an administrative body. The Lions Club at the time facilitated a charitable bank account so that it was legal. I'm sure there were some wonderful people in the Lions Club who did some really good work at the time. I can't remember which people were involved. I remember one or two. I haven't forgotten you. But that was their role in it. They provided a legal bank account to facilitate the fundraising. I've used a similar method when doing Ride for Joe. We raised 15 grand for the Wollongong Cancer Ward. I've done it. I get it. I understand it. The letter intimated, and again, if they're feeding him, 4 of us would have got that letter. They knew somebody was going to tell them to bash it up their ass, and they knew which one that was going to be and who was going to be, I guess, at the spear of the family telling you to bash it up your ass. The individuals involved had the audacity to hold a meeting regarding my father's home and my family's dealing with said issues with no family member present. That takes some big balls. I'll give you that. You pricks have some front on you. And so every time I make you feel uncomfortable, I enjoy it. But that's the type of thing that without being, it's not me being arrogant or anything like that, but my personality doesn't allow to be railroaded by some bullshit group of wankers who think they're special. So I read the letter. I went off my head. A couple of poignant phone calls. There was a couple of aggressive visits to local enterprises, including Temora Shire Council, for a couple of conversations. You pricks tried to steal a house. Now, if they tried that on with my family, how many other people have done similar things? How many other nasty-ish letters have people received? That because as my siblings found it, it wasn't a condolences letter. It was you're going to give us your house. And had I lost that fight, there would no doubt would have been some bullshit photo in the paper with the family donating the house and the mayor ingratiatingly wiggling his tongue in my bottom.
Mm.
Oh, what a great da 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 da, while we're standing there dazed and confused as to how these pricks just stole a house.
Mm.
I have no doubt they've done it to other people.
Mm.
I have no doubt that type of activity happens all the time. And how many of the people that has that happened to don't have a dean standing there going, fuck off.
Mm.
This is shonky.
Yeah.
Stick your letter. You people are out of line. Now, I had to, of course, buy the home.
Mm.
I wasn't given it. I inherited a quarter share
Mm.
of my father's home.
And you had the other 3/4.
And then I had to buy the other 3/4
Yeah.
from the other shareholders and pay the bank like every other normal person. So, no, mummy mayor, I wasn't given a house.
Mm.
Right? I did hear you say that there the night we had our little event down at the what's the name? That was whispered in the crowd. I didn't hear it actually. It was people sitting behind them that heard it. And guess what? People like to tell me these things.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a well, you got a free house or whatever the exact words were. When you want to jump into the ring with me, I've got a very long memory. I am not afraid of you in any way, shape, or form, and you can bring the whole gang. Just do it. It'll be fun.
Well,
So when they do that to people like me, if you've got the audacity to front that shit with me, admittedly it was 10, 15 years ago, whatever it was now.
Yeah.
How many other people have they done it to?
Oh.
How many people are they still doing it to? And if you are in the crowd and they've tried this shit, reach out because I will stand next to you and pick that fight just because they deserve it. And that's how it should be.
even to this end, and referencing back to the video we've just watched, Sarah Vanosky may be as guilty as Sid.
Yeah.
Sarah Vanosky may be getting set up. The simple fact is, the OLG have got access to criminal barristers. They've got access to the full resources of the whole gamut, and they can just pour the heat on whoever they want to torch and watch them burn. And it's very few can actually stand there and go,
You've got to have
you have to be in honor. You have to have the truth as your shield, and you cannot resort to the tactics of them. So
it's-
you have to act properly. You have to act sensibly. You have to act.
with integrity, and you have to know
Yes.
who you are
Yes.
and what you stand for. And
Now-
it seems a bit cliche,
Now, no,
but you have to know who
but the
you
next
are.
step that I'm going to take as a councillor of Temora Shire Council is council have got a development program that they run for councillors, right? Now,
So you can learn to be a good little stooge.
well, no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to avail myself of those services, and I'm going to get some legal training.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn what basis this stuff works on. I'm going to learn how to defend myself. I'm going to learn how to defend others.
Yep.
I'm going to do the job properly. I'm going to call them out every time they put some bullshit proposition in front of me. I'm going to question it. And I'm going to question it on the basis of law. So that's the next step that I'm taking in my journey as a councillor.
Yep.
Now
Nice.
that is going to
Good.
take some additional study on my part. It's going to take some time, but Temora Shire Council have got an obligation, and the New South Wales government have indicated that they want a councillor development program. Well, if we're going to be in an environment where an individual who hasn't got that training and hasn't got access to those resources, well, I'm not going to sit there and let you punch shit out of me.
Yep.
I'm going to train. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to hit the gym, mentally speaking,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to let you just roll straight over the top of me.
That's what you
So
have to do.
that's where I'm going next.
Good.
So,
Hey, great.
okay. Now, it's 8:48. It's Easter Thursday. Everyone wants to get the fishing rod in the hand.
Oh, I've got work to do.
Yeah, well, everyone except me. People want to go and spend time with their families. Anyone who's joined in tonight, thanks very much for spending time with us. I hope we've brought you some information that you weren't familiar with. I hope we've given you some community and some just somewhere to feel a little bit connected. I think a lot of people sit there in the community a bit isolated with these thoughts, and they feel a little bit disconnected, and
They
feel-
think they're alone, or they've been bullied into being alone, or whatever the case
No,
may be.
seriously, this stuff is going on all over Australia at all different levels, and I think we're doing a great community service by providing some sort of a beacon or some sort of a shield to people who might feel, if you've got any issues within the Temora community and you want them raised at a council level, please reach out to me. I'm ready to go.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, Bruce, and everybody else that tunes in. We really appreciate you all.
Yeah, we really do.
Look, everybody have a great Easter.
Yeah, and
We'll
peace
be
and
back.
love.
Be back next week. Yeah, peace, love, war, whatever floats your boat. Really.
As you'll obviously witness tonight, our family and our lives are really important, and they come first. This community comes a very close second,
Yeah.
but last week we just had to deal with
Well,
stuff,
it's got stuff, family, business, life.
but we certainly do really appreciate the forum and the platform. And like I say, and I will tell you straight up now that I believe this show has allowed my side of the story to filter through the community and for people to actually test what I've said and what others have said. And it's allowed me to actually retake my place in the community after having such slanderous barbs thrown at me.
I'm glad.
And
That's what it's about.
Yeah, and it's and if anyone wants to come on and throw a few more,
Oh, look, the gate's always been open. I've always said open forum. Anyone who wants to come on here and chat,
100%.
more than happy to bring up another chair, or
I've
one of
got-
us could be here, one not, whatever.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, like,
The only
everything that we
the only
put-
rule, if you're ballsy enough to come onto the program with us, is there's no. I'm not answering that question.
no, you can't do a Ron.
There's none of that
There's
shit.
no wrong
There
shit.
is, but if and that goes for any of the local councillors that are sitting there at home. I don't know most of you guys. Some of you may be sitting there thinking, "Oh, I wish I could. Oh, I'll get into trouble. Oh, Rick will spank me," or whatever bullshit you're thinking. If you got the balls and you want to come on, I'll set up a chair here. The only thing is, there's no dodging questions and going,
No.
bullshit.
No, there's no
There's-
editing here. This is live.
live.
Every single
Sorry,
second
Brad.
that gets filmed is to air. We're doing this live now.
Unedited. It is what it is. The closest thing I get to editing is when I press the little AI and it cuts it up into bits and rolls it out for the
That's
YouTube shorts.
after.
But the full and live is always done.
So if you
and
want to
done.
sit here and go and lie your ass off, well, it's going to be on.
It's going to be on there,
Yeah.
and we won't be pulling it because you feel like your feelings are hurt or some shit like that. Probably why we don't get too many guests, but the ones we do have been great so far.
Oh, look, and I'm telling you, we're going to get some A grade.
Oh, we've got some fantastic ones coming up. It's going to be good fun.
And it's been unreal to watch the progression of Andrew Thaler, and I've been watching his campaign.
He's going great guns.
Yeah, and
I like Andrew.
and look, he's taken.
He's keen to come back on too. And the problem is going into a federal election. We're going to end up over the next couple of weeks having people reach out all the time.
Yes,
Going,
but
when
we've only
can you
got
come on?
2
When can we
weeks.
come
So Andrew, I reckon Andrew can come on next week. That's my call.
Well, look, yeah, that's it. But we're going to have other phone calls. We're going to end up with people going, we're going to
Well-
work out a way to facilitate a few.
Well, I'd certainly like.
We might have to host a few specials or something.
Well, we can do that.
We can do that. We'll see who reaches out and who makes themselves available.
But certainly, I'd like to have Andrew back on, particularly prior to the election.
I think so. I think that's a no-brainer.
He's just working really hard. He's got stuff going up every day on his Facebook page and on his socials, and he's working really hard. And look, honestly,
There's a lot of good candidates around
there's so
doing that.
much hate and so much shade going his way.
He must be doing something right.
Yes,
He's got to be upset.
100%.
And to any of the other candidates that are listening in, guys, seriously, I want to support you, but please try to inspire people. Come out with know your shit, know what you're standing for. I can't live with this fucking paper candidate stuff. We're done. There's too much of that shit. Come out swinging. Stand for what you stand for. I've said it a million times. I have more respect for Lydia Thorpe in that bloody parliament than just about anybody else. Not because I agree with any of her policies. I think she's a fucking complete idiot. But she believes every single thing she says, and she will go over the hill dying on that. And that's to her credit.
100%.
And again, guys, if you're willing, brave enough to share it, might get you blocked by the mayor, but if you're brave enough to share it, that's great. Helps. Obviously the likes and all that sort of stuff does help the algorithms and the amount of people get to see it and all that sort of stuff. So like, subscribe, share, blah, 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 all that sort of making crap. And tune in next Thursday, of course. And if we do run it, keep an eye on my Facebook page,
Yes.
Spirit of Self-Determination, and Anthony Irvine Stand Up for Tamora, because if we do a couple of specials, you'll want to know about it. And we'll put it up, hopefully with a little bit of notice so people can kind of tune on in. It is election season. So, even if we have to do 2 or 3 of these over the next couple of weeks, with some really good candidates and give people a bit of a forum, more than happy to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody, thanks for
Have a
tuning in.
happy Easter.
Have a happy Easter and have a great night.